A warm welcome to each and every one of us who has joined for the webinar today. Good morning. As you all know, our guest speaker for today is Ms. Pooja Chiplankar. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning, Rashna. Good morning to everyone who's joined.
Thank you. About Ms. Pooja. Ms. Pooja has close to 10 years of experience in the hospitality industry. Having learned her trade from the Institute of Hotel Management, Mumbai, her illustrious profile boasts of successful stints at the Etihad Airways, among many other esteemed assignments. Besides her years of experience in the hospitality industry, her true calling in life is sharing the gift and knowledge of yoga and a holistic living. Her passion for holistic living and yoga started at a young age, stemming from her Indian roots and the cultural values inculcated by her parents. Having practiced yoga since childhood, she has always tried to spread her passion by sharing her practices with others. As a cherry on top, she decided to get certified for her yoga teaching course and Ayurveda for teacher certification. As a recognition for her distinguished career, she has received many accolades, including the student with the most consistent performance during her years at IHM Mumbai, and also the Best Student of the Year award in her first, second, and third years at the IHM Mumbai. In addition to that, she has also completed the intermediate and wine expert courses from WSET and passed with distinction in both levels. Recently, she also started a YouTube channel titled Om of Wellness with Tara, where she shares information about yoga philosophy, yogasana and pranayama tutorials, pilots tutorials and sequences, and Ayurveda and Ayurvedic principles that one can implement in their daily life to create and live a holistic life. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Ms. Pooja Chiplankar to this wonderful session. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this lovely introduction.
She will be speaking on the balance between work and well-being, and I'm sure it will be an incredibly interesting session. Over to you, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Rachna, for this beautiful introduction. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to everyone who's joined. Thank you for joining, and thank you for having me. It is my pleasure to be here today. And like Rachna mentioned, 10 years since I graduated IHM Mumbai, and it's really a good feeling to be able to give back in any way that I can to IHM, because it is something that's very close to my heart. And you've said a lot about me already, but just to get started, I will give a few more details about myself just so that we can break that ice. So my name is Pooja Chiplankar, and I am from Burundi. That's a country in East Africa. That's where I'm born and raised. And that's where I lived my childhood. And that's where I studied. And I was always drawn towards culture and Indian traditions. And my parents made sure that they taught us all of that at home. Festivals, Indian festivals like Diwali or Holi were celebrated in Burundi, but not very elaborately. And I always had that in me. I wanted to see those festivals. I wanted to experience Indian culture a little more. And that's why I decided to move to India, to Pune. We're from Pune originally, and continue my studies there. And then I went into IHM Mumbai, and no regrets about that. I'm really happy I did that course. And then I moved on to doing my management training, the Manager in Training program at the Four Seasons in Mauritius. And I worked there for a while, after which I moved to the UAE. And I work now for Etihad Airways, and I am a food and beverage manager and a service trainer here. So this is a little bit about me in the hospitality field. And I am also a yoga instructor and a Pilates instructor. And like Rachna rightly mentioned, it has become something that I passionately do and that I find as my calling. I get a lot of satisfaction by sharing this knowledge, this gift of yoga. And there's no better time really to share this knowledge, because we're in a time and age where people tend to take their health lightly. So it's a good topic to talk about today, especially for all of you who are at IHM and will be graduating soon and going into the industry. Right. So feel free to type in any questions you might have in the middle. But of course, like I've been briefed, we will have a question and answer session at the end. Also, what we'll be doing, since this is about wellness and well-being, we will be towards the end practicing a couple of techniques or practices, easy practices together that will help us understand how these practices can be very accessible to all of us. Because sometimes we tend to think, oh, this is not for me. Oh, I don't think I have time for this. But I really wish to show you that it is accessible. It is very easy. And a little bit every day goes a long way. All right? Great. So starting off. So I'm going to talk about wellness and well-being. Now, I am sure you are in great hands at IHM Mumbai. Like I said, it's something that's very close to my heart because I have learned so much. I absolutely loved being there. And I've learned so much in terms of theory knowledge and practical knowledge as well, but the faculty, the opportunities that time gave me are really priceless. So you're in good hands, definitely. We had the likes of Chef Sanjay Kapoor visiting us, and the reason I'm saying this is that you need to have a broader perspective of how you're learning things through people who have so much experience coming there, and being so humble and giving back to this institute means a lot, right? Okay, so now you are going to move on after you graduate and go into the industry as professionals. And it is an extremely rewarding career path that you have chosen. It is one that comes with many exciting opportunities, many exciting possibilities. But just like any other industry, it is an industry that comes with its special sets of challenges. Right? Challenges are everywhere. For starters, as you might already know, it is an industry that operates well outside the 9 to 5, very comfy work hours. It is an industry that literally operates 24/7 round the clock, right? And there are very blurry lines between weekdays, weekends, holidays. For the last few years, whenever someone tells me, oh, are you free on Wednesday? I'm like, can you please tell me the date? Because I operate on dates. I don't know what date is. Weekends are the busiest, and aviation is a whole other ball game altogether. So, but it is not all gloom and dark. It's great to see that the industry is rapidly changing, and it is entering into an era where the spotlight is slowly shifting onto well-being, wellness, mental health, and all of that, not only for our guests, but also for the employees. Most importantly, we are seeing that this industry, institutes, hotels are coming up with options for employees to keep up with their wellness and well-being. Now, the topic that we said was for this webinar is wellness and work. Now, you might have heard a lot of balance between life and work. Now, I used to say that as well until very recently. Now, if we say life and work, does that mean work is not life? Does that mean you're not living when you're at work? That's a good question to ask, I think, right? It's very important to understand that your work is a part of life. Are you living your work? You need to live your work because, like I said, we operate way beyond the 9-hour shift. If you thought it was different, sorry to burst your bubble. Yes, you will have easy and nice shifts, 9-hour shifts, but the truth is that you need to give a little more, especially when you climb up the ladder, right? And so imagine you're working 13 hours, 15 hours, 16 hours. Honestly, I have spent 3 days at the hotel I was working at a stretch. I stayed there because I needed to because of work. Now, if you have those 16, 15-hour shifts, and that is not life, right? It's work. Then you come back home and you're so exhausted from your work that you just go off to sleep. So that basically means you've not lived, right? If we take it that way. So this is a good way of changing or shifting your perspective. Work is part of your life. And are you living your work? This is what you need to slowly cultivate. Your work, you're living it. Okay, anything you do, you live it. There's something I read once and that has stayed in my mind and that guides me through everything. The way you do anything is the way you will do everything. So whatever you do, live it. Okay, great. Now, you are all graduating and you're going to become future managers, future directors, or whatever the position is that you will grow into. And like I said, you're very blessed to be in an institute like this where you will be equipped with whatever you need, all the tools you need, theory, practical, to manage your career or manage your teams, right? And you will be able to manage those teams because of the tools that you have. How much time, if I have to ask you, how much time have you invested in just learning these tools? It might be just the 3 years, or it might be more for those of you who've done diploma courses, or those of you who've done extra research to have more knowledge about any subject, right? So you've invested time, you've invested energy, right, in gaining these tools and this knowledge. Now, when you go into your management training course, you will again be investing time. You'll be investing your energy into it. And then slowly you will hone those skills. You will get better at what you do and you will climb up the ladder. So you've invested all of that. If I have to throw out a question at you right now, how much of time, how much of energy are you or have you ever invested in yourself? For yourself, for your well-being. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to type out any answers here. It's just a question thrown at you for you to think over. Okay, right. Now, just like anything you do, any project you take on, you spend some energy, you invest some energy. It is very important for you to invest in yourself, and that will be the biggest investment and the most important and worthwhile investment you will ever make. Remember that wherever you reach in life is a series of choices you have made to reach there. It does not happen like that. Okay, the reason you're in your third year or second year, whichever year you're in right now, is a series of choices. You had choices of industries you wanted to choose. You had choices whether to study well or not for your entrance exam, and that led to you choosing your institute, etc., etc., etc. So remember, even your health, your wellness is a series of choices. It does not happen like that. Everything takes work. There is no substitute for work, step by step. Good. Now, you might be thinking, well, this all sounds very nice, very fancy, very nice to hear, but how do we do that? How do we ensure, how do we invest in our wellness when we're working, when we're busy, when we might be stressed about work? Well, this is exactly the topic of this webinar. I want to share with you some easy practices, some tips and tricks that you can implement in your daily lives to ensure optimal well-being. All right. Now, before starting off with what is the main thing I want to talk about, which is awareness and mindfulness, I will talk about engagement. Because as professionals, you will be engaged in your career, and you should be. Okay. Like I said, everything you do it with your full heart. Okay, like I said, live what you're doing. And if you think about it, you will be spending a lot of time in your work, like 50, maybe 9, 10, 11, 12 hours of your day. It's quite a substantial amount of time. And you want to spend it with your full engagement. Okay, but always remember there is a difference between engagement and attachment. Okay, this is an idea that is very, very very, very important in the Hindu philosophy or in the yoga philosophy in general. Attachment. Do not be attached so much that you lose yourself in it. Okay. Now, I'm going to say another thing that I hope that you will keep in your mind. When you're engaged in something, means you are making it meaningful and fulfilling for yourself. Okay, instead of asking yourself, was this meaningful or fulfilling, ask yourself, change of perspective, did I make it meaningful and fulfilling for myself? Okay, and the reason I'm stressing on the fact I is because it needs to come from you. Okay, you need to start to see the difference between social conditioning, cultural conditioning, the expectations that are set out there for you, and what feels good from within. Okay, what makes it meaningful for you? How is it aligned with your values? Okay, with what makes you feel motivated? Right, I will come to this in just a bit. Now, every time you go to work, just make sure that you're putting your best in it. Whatever small project it is, put your best in it. Make sure it is great work for you. At the end of the day, you should say, okay, this was great work. Not, it was work is work kind of day. You hear this a lot nowadays. And when you ask, oh, hey, how are you? How was your day? How was work? Oh, work is work. Okay, you hear this a lot nowadays. Do you want to be one of those, or do you want to be one of those who say, work was actually very fulfilling today, or work was a bit challenging today, but learn from it? You know, it's just a change of perspective. It's just how you choose to see it. Okay, again, like I said, attachment. Do not make anything your identity. Now you are, I'm just going to pick a name here, Sarah Khatun. Okay, you are Sarah Khatun. You are not, whichever division you're going to choose, food and beverage manager or chef, or I don't know, whichever housekeeping manager, Sarah Khatun. Okay, know that your identity is Sarah Khatun, whatever is within you, your true values. Okay, always remember that. And that comes from being centered, being grounded. And I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this in just a bit. So stay tuned. I'm going to talk about how you stay grounded, how do you stay connected, because connection is very critical to well-being. Okay, great. So that's what I need to say about engagement. Do what makes you happy. You've heard this a lot, but what does it really mean? Is what makes you feel fulfilled and meaningful. All right. Now, let me talk about vision a little bit. Now, when we graduate, all of you are very young and you are excited to go out in the industry and achieve things. Now, when you say achieve, do you have one specific target? One specific target. During your internship, you might have seen your food and beverage director. Oh my God, he's so respected by everyone. He does so well. I'm sure he has a good car, etc. Is this your target? You might have, and it's good to be ambitious, to be driven. But you need to understand that there's a difference between having a fixed target and having a vision. People who reach really, really far have a vision. Okay, and having a vision is living in a state of abundance, because you tell yourself there are so many possibilities out there. Yes, I have a target, maybe I have a goal, but there are so many possibilities out there. I'm going to keep myself open-minded. Okay, I'm going to keep myself open-minded to reach wherever I want to reach. And this concept of abundance is very, very much linked to wellness. Okay, when we live in a state of abundance, we don't live in a state of a shortage or lack. Because when you live in a state of lack or shortage, you are very fear-driven, because you think that there's shortage of things, of opportunities for you. So you're very fear-driven, and fear is going to drive all your actions and thoughts. Okay, and that leads to stress, that leads to anxiety. So know that life is going to throw at you different situations, different circumstances. And if you have a vision, that will always stay in the periphery of your consciousness. And that is what is going to guide you to navigate through these challenges more easily, okay, more at peace, more with ease. And this is what you want whenever you get into your career. All right. Now, what is abundance? If some of you still have some questions, it is a state of living. It is a state of mind that you want to keep up with in your career. And if you stay concentrated on that one target, it is a recipe for disappointments, because know that change is the only constant. You might think, okay, this is what I want to do, but on the way, there'll be a lot of changes, and maybe those changes are actually very good for you. Look at me. Like, from a hospitality professional, I know that what I want to do now is wellness. And it is not something that happened like that. I have been involved in sports right from my childhood. And I think it comes from my parents as well. Both of them were very much involved in sports. My father was a Commonwealth player. He represented his country at a very young age in badminton. My mom was an athlete in school. So I think it comes from that. However, I never took it as a career that I will grow into. But I kept up with that. I kept possibilities open, and I stayed in a state of learning. I always thought whatever I can learn, I'm going to learn, no matter whether it is aligned with the industry I'm in or not. Always be in a state of learning. Learn whatever you can when you have the opportunity. All right, great. So now I've spoken about vision, I've spoken about engagement, and this brings me now to awareness and mindfulness. Now, whenever you think of wellness and well-being, you will always hear this. And why is it important for you guys? Why is it important for any professional? Is because it has been proven, it is backed by science, that it does have a great impact on leadership skills. Okay, remember, you will be leading teams. But what is the point of you trying to lead teams of 20, maybe 30, or maybe smaller teams, if you yourself cannot lead yourself? If you cannot manage this one person, this one inner self properly, how are you going to lead a team of 20? Right? So it is very, very important for you to do this inner work I'm going to speak about now. And a lot of people just take it for granted. This is fine. I'm good at my job. But remember, if you're not connected to yourself, there will be a time where you will lose perspective. It can happen because you're not connected. And then what happens is that you tend to melt into what you see around you. Oh, this is cool. These people have a lot of following. I'm going to do what they're doing just because it's cool. Okay, then you're losing perspective. You are not connected to your values. Make your vision, the vision I spoke about, in line with your values, with your core values, what is coming from within you. Okay, great. Now let us talk about awareness and mindfulness. Everything starts from awareness. Okay, now we will be doing a little exercise together, which will teach you, which will give you a little insight about how you can build your awareness. And always remember, whatever I'm telling you here, it's something that I have learned through experience. I am still learning. It's always work in progress, but I have also learned through wisdom. Okay, this holistic lifestyle comes from wisdom that has been given to us by elders. Always respect that. People who are older than us come with a lot of experience. At this age, in our age group, we tend to think we know a lot already. Always respect people who are elder because they have a lot of experience and they're talking from experience. And then come all the spiritual leaders, all the big talkers, the speakers that impart knowledge to us. Okay, now if you think about yoga and Ayurveda, what does Ayurveda mean? Veda is the books of knowledge. They're the most ancient Sanskrit texts that give us knowledge about how to live life to reach that optimal well-being. So this is wisdom that has been given to people and then it has reached us. So it has a lot of truth. Okay? Anyway, so now I'm going to move on and talk about mindfulness and awareness. So I said, there's first wisdom, there's practice. Yoga, when we say yoga or Ayurveda, we always talk about practice. Have you practiced yoga? We practice it. It is not something that we do. We go to the gym and do our workout. It is a practice. We're learning. It is something, an activity that we do with full awareness, with mindfulness. Okay? And it is very important that whatever we do on our mat, we take it off the mat. Otherwise, there's no point. Whatever we're learning on the mat, we take it off the mat. It is a practice. You grow in it. Okay, so practice and consistency. Discipline, there's nothing that can replace discipline ever. Okay, so keep up with it, be consistent. Now, awareness. If I had to throw out another question at you, how aware are you when you do daily activities? Forget about yoga, forget about working out. When you're brushing your teeth, how aware are you of what you're doing? Okay, when you're talking to someone over the phone, or when you're talking to your, I don't know if you are hostelites or live outside, when you're talking to your friend or your roommate, how engaged are you really there, or are you thinking about something else? And be true to yourself. I'm not asking you for any answers, but I can say I am working on it. But because I'm aware of it, I'm slowly building awareness. I know when my mind starts to wander, I bring it back. I'm like, listen, I need to give my full attention here. How aware are you when you're eating? I'm going to talk about mindful eating because I think all of us are foodies, right? In this industry, who is not a foodie here? We all love our food. So I'm going to talk about that as well. Now, so building awareness is step by step. You can start off slowly, 1 minute every day, 2 minutes every day, 3 minutes every day. Whatever you're doing, do it with full awareness. And this is the mindful practice. You're slowly growing into being more and more mindful in whatever you do. And remember, whatever you do will start to percolate. That habit will start to drip into all the areas of your life. So maybe you're thinking, why is she telling us about, I don't know, washing the dishes or brushing our teeth or eating mindfully? Because this is going to impact the way you are as a professional. And you're going to be leaders. Remember, you are going to lead. And if you practice this mindfulness, you're going to have much more clarity. You're going to have much more focus. And you're going to be much more connected to yourself. And in turn, be able to connect to your colleagues. And that is very important because sometimes we lose track of that. The work, the busyness tends to get the best of us, and we just become the food and beverage manager who wants to get his restaurant to work. Okay, we lose that human contact, and that does have consequences. I have seen it at work in the hotel. I've seen it on board. So I'm an onboard food and beverage manager. If I am not able to manage my team, the guests are going to feel it. It is going to impact your service. It is going to have consequences. And it will impact you at the end of the day. Remember what I said about fulfillment? You're not going to feel fulfilled because you will feel a void. Okay, great. Now, to talk a little more about mindfulness, it has been scientifically proven that for students, it will improve focus, it will improve your emotional stability, it will improve your concentration. And for professional, then same thing, focus, clarity, your ability to connect to others. Okay, and it has a lot of scientific backup to say that it completely changes the way your brain functions, the structure of your brain, how your brain makes connection. Okay, I'm not going to go into details. I'm just letting you know that there is science out there to prove it. And there is a reason disciplines like yoga and Ayurveda, which are 5,000 years old, have survived until today. Okay, great. Now that is about mindfulness. Building your mindfulness is very, very important. Now I'm going to do a small exercise. So I'm not going to keep talking all the while. If you want to switch on your cameras, please go ahead. I would love to see who's in front of me. Don't worry if you're in your pajamas. If I wasn't doing this webinar, I would be in my pajamas too. So don't worry. All right. So I want you to just sit wherever you are. Okay. Sit wherever you are, and we're going to cultivate our mindfulness, and you will see that it doesn't take much. Okay, so close your eyes wherever you are. Okay, join me in closing your eyes and just begin to notice how your body is feeling. Notice how you're seated. If you're lying down, great, stay lying down, that's fine. Notice how your body feels in whichever position you are in. And now we're slowly going to bring our awareness into our breathing. So can you feel the flow of your breath? Can you feel the sensations that your inhalation is bringing into your nostrils? And then be aware of the sensations that the exhale brings into your nostrils. Stay with your breath. Just notice the inhales, notice the exhales. And as you do so, there might be thoughts popping up in your mind. Does that mean that this little meditation that we're doing has stopped? No. If you have noticed and become aware of those thoughts, you're still meditating because you're aware. Remember, it's all about awareness. Bring it back. Bring back your awareness to your breath. Stay here with me for 2 to 3 more breaths. That's it. Notice your inhale. Notice your exhale. Just become aware of how you're feeling in the body, how your forehead is feeling. Do you feel any tension in your face, in your cheeks, in your jaws? Are you clenching your jaw? Are your eyelids feeling soft? Take one last breath here with me. And then slowly start to blink your eyes to open. Great. So can you see how long did that take us? I think half a minute, maybe a minute. It did bring your awareness into the present. Okay, so mindfulness is all about bringing your awareness into the present intentionally and without any judgment. Now, there are many different ways of bringing your mindfulness into the present, and I'm going to talk about some of them. Okay, now I'm going to talk about eating mindfully. All right. Now, all of us, like I said, are foodies. We love our food, right? If someone is not a foodie, please drop a message. I'd love to know that. If you're in this industry and you're not a foodie, it would be interesting. Good. Now, if you all, including I, love food, right? Are we giving our full attention when we're eating? Honestly, ask yourself this question and answer. Okay. If your answer is no, then you need to have a little bit of introspection. I think that there's a little problem here. This is something you love, but you're not doing it with your full attention. Why? Why? Because we are in a day and age where we have TV, we have Netflix, we have WhatsApp. So we're constantly multitasking, even when we're eating. Now, when we're eating, what are we doing? We're bringing in energy, right, to do everything else. We're bringing in nourishment for our body, right, to do everything else properly. What are we working for? This is something my mom has always said when we rush through our food. My mom used to say, people work so hard to earn some money so that they can feed themselves. But even that, they're not doing at peace. There's some problem here. I always remember my mom's words. Now, remember that I'm going to go into a more holistic and Ayurvedic perspective of this mindful eating and intuitive eating. Okay, because all of you, once you go into your work, like I said, you will be spending a lot of time at work. So at least 2 of your meals or 1 meal will be at work. Okay, you're surrounded by many people. You're surrounded by a lot of food. Me being in the food and beverage department, I know I was surrounded with a lot of very tempting foods. How do you manage that? First of all, mindful eating. Okay, if you could, I would like you to type out your answers here while I talk. Where does digestion start? When you're eating, where does digestion start? If you could just type out, 2, 3 of you, please type out your answers. I don't want to be the only one talking. I would love to know what you think. Where does digestion start? Just type out your answers. And now, when Ayurveda, the cornerstone of good health, according to, thank you, Surbi, to maintain good health is digestion, proper digestion. Okay, everything, all the dis-ease or discomfort that happens in the body starts from improper digestion. Okay, now I just want to check who has said what. In the mouth. Okay, in the mouth. All right, good. So I like that. I like nose. I like that a lot, Rachna. Kali Prasad, thank you. Surbi, thank you. Okay, good. Mouth, I like that answer. I like that answer a lot because many people don't even think that way, that it starts in the mouth. Let me take it one step further. It starts right here. Okay, for I think it was Surbi who said, Rachna who said nose. Very good. So our senses are all involved when we're eating, if we decide to do so. Now, I would like once again, everybody just close your eyes And I'm going to guide you into a small exercise that will make you aware of this. Close your eyes and imagine yourself now walking towards your fridge. You're walking towards the fridge. You open the fridge. You see a nice lemon there, nice and fresh, or lime, whatever. Take it. You close the fridge. Go get a knife and you cut this lemon or lime into half. You bring that one half close to your nose. Imagine that. Okay, just hold it there. You smell it. Now you stick out your tongue and you're just going to lick that one half that you've cut. Good. That's it. Open your eyes now if you've closed them. How many of you actually salivated? How many of you got that saliva running in your mouth? I did. Okay, because visualization plays a role here. You have involved all your senses just in that visualization of how it would feel on your tongue, how it would feel in the nose. So it all starts here. Okay, and many of us nowadays are eating in a state of rush or in a state of stress. Our body is a system. It is a machine that is so intelligent, right? So if we're in a stressed mode, our body is in a fight or flight response kind of mode, right? Fight or flight mode. Our sympathetic nervous system is active. Then our body is just concentrating, it's pouring out energy into releasing that stress and not into our digestion. So it's very important for all of you, whether you are at work or not, take some time to calm yourself down. Yes, ma'am, but how do we do that? Very easy. What we just did. Close your eyes. Take in a few breaths, mindful breaths in through the nose, out through the nose, deep breaths, just to center yourself. Remember, when you do anything mindfully, your parasympathetic nervous system starts to activate. And your parasympathetic nervous system activates the relax and digest mode in your body. Okay, so it's either fight or flight or digest and rest. Okay, so you want to be in this digest and rest mode for your food to be digested properly, because otherwise, trust me, it's not going to be digested optimally. Okay, and then that will lead to bloating, gas, stomach aches, etc. And remember, when you're at work, you have those 15 minutes or 30 minutes break to eat and then to go back to work. So you don't want to end up with feeling bloated, and that will affect your performance. Okay, I'm putting everything in a link with your work here, because these are things that you need to cultivate slowly. Start now, because everything you do becomes a habit or becomes a practice when you do it consistently. Okay, now I'm going to give you a few more details about what Ayurveda says. For those of you who said mouth, very good. Why does it start in the mouth? Because you have enzymes in your saliva that break down carbohydrates mainly. And us being Indians, we have a diet that is very rich in carbohydrates. Our rotis, our rice is carbohydrates. So if that is not broken properly in your mouth, it's going to go in your stomach, and then this system will have to work a little more to break down the carbs properly. Okay? And also, what is the only thing you are doing physically is taking that bite and chewing. All the rest is done for you automatically. So do at least that properly. Chew properly. And I'm not going to say what we hear, chew, 32 times or 52 times. Just do it mindfully. Do it mindfully. Do it intuitively. When you think, okay, it is masticated properly, just dopamine when you eat tasty food. Yes, Sarah, that's true. When you are involved, when you smell the food, when you see those nice, vibrant colors on your plate, you release the relaxation hormones in the body. Right. Now you have taken that food in, right? Your stomach is a very, very acidic place. Okay. And those acids are very important to break down the foods. Okay. Especially all the proteins. Now, Ayurveda also says do not drink water at least 1 or 2 hours before your meal, because what happens is that it dilutes those juices, and once those juices are diluted, those proteins or the food is not going to be broken down or processed properly, and that's when we get acid reflux. And it is a misconception. Sometimes we say, oh, I get acidity, acid reflux, I must have less, I must have too much acidity. It could be the other way around, because there is a valve outside your stomach into the intestine. There's a valve. Like I said, it's a very intelligent system. This valve will open only if it thinks that this food has been processed. But if you don't have enough acids, it's not going to process properly, and this valve will stay closed, and the food will try to go the other way, this way. Okay, so make sure that you're not drinking too much water before and during your meals. Okay, and after as well. Let the food process. Okay, and also try to follow a proper routine. Like I said, in hotels and in hospitality in general, you will be surrounded by a lot of yummy foods. Try out everything. You need to have a taste of everything, but be in control. Okay, be in control. Try out things, but make sure that you're eating healthy foods. Remember, what you eat becomes you. You want to favor whole foods. You want to favor foods that are close to the earth: seeds, plants, leaves, dry fruits, vegetables. Okay, and these are very, very high vibration foods. If your food is high vibration, your vibrations will be high. If your foods are frozen, deep fried, alcohol, sorry, all of this is very low vibration foods. This will bring your vibration down, and you'll end up feeling very lethargic at work. Oh my God, I have to go to work now. Oh my God, I don't feel like working. So what you eat has a big impact on your energy levels. Okay, make sure. Take one meal with you. How about you cook your own food at home? Put in your good intentions into the food, and you have one meal with you when you go to work. Have your own food. That is one advice that I would also like to give you. Right. So now about the food, I've spoken about the food. Right. Now I'm going to talk about other things that you can do very mindfully is breathing. Okay. Everything starts with your breath. Breath is what is giving your body prana. Prana is vital force, vital energy that makes an inert object alive. Okay, and this is what brings life into us. Yoga, the cornerstone of yoga is pranayama. If you're just doing asanas and fancy headstands and handstands without breathing properly, you're losing the whole point of it. Okay, pranayama is the most important. So I'm going to show you, and you're going to practice with me, one breathing technique that will help you to center yourself. Okay, so when you have these very, very challenging situations at work, you have that little break you need to take from the situation, take it. It is okay if you take a break. Take 2 minutes, 3 minutes for yourself to center yourself, and your breath is the most important tool that you will have to recenter yourself, to calm yourself down so that you're good to go and face those challenges in a better way, in a calmer way. Okay, we're going to do that in just a bit. Now I'm going to talk about yoga and pranayama a little bit more. Now some of you might be asking me, yes, you said 13-14 hour shift, how are we going to get time to work out? Now let me put that in another way. If you don't take this time, you're not going to be able to sustain yourself properly in a healthy way in those 14 or 15 hours. You need to. This is not an option. There are many people who ask, oh, you're in an industry that is so demanding physically, that takes up so much time in the day. How do you make time for this? Or how do you maintain for guys, your physique, or for ladies, your body? It's very simple. One answer, and that'll never change: discipline. There's no substitute for that. Discipline and intention. Have the intention to do it joyfully. Don't make it a chore. Like, oh my God, I have to work out. You're not going to get the benefits of it because you'll be doing it forcefully. And I like to listen to a lot of talks by Gaur Gopal Das, Sri Ravi Shankar, Sadhguru, and they all say one thing: whatever you do, do it joyfully. And that will percolate in everything that you do, will show in your work, will show in your professional work. Do everything you do joyfully. Otherwise, take a break. Have a conversation with yourself. Why am I not doing it joyfully? Okay, so take some time out. If I have to share my experience, I used to work at that hotel, right? If I had the late shift, I used to go 1 hour earlier. There was a gym close to the hotel. I used to work out 1 hour. That used to get my energy levels up, and then I used to go to work. Or if I had time after, even if it's just half an hour, put that half an hour for your body and do it in a state of gratitude. Remember, gratitude is a very, very high vibration feeling or emotion. When you do things from a state or from a place of gratitude, it will always come back to you. So now when you're doing these exercises, these practices for your body, do it with a sense of gratitude. I'm giving back to my body. My body is enabling me to walk. And when I'm walking, I'm getting money. When I'm walking, I'm getting that satisfaction. I'm getting so many opportunities. What are you doing for the body? How are you giving back to your body? Remember, your body is very, very good in the sense that it is very intelligently leading you through life, working day in and day out. But if you don't give it back, it's going to come to a point where it will take a pause and will ask you, hey, you need to take a step back. You're burning out. You don't want to get to that stage. And this is why yoga and Ayurveda are so great, because they're very proactive disciplines. We're not waiting until something happens to, oh, okay, now I need to work out. Don't get to that place. Do it. Start now. There's no, like I said, discipline. Every day, get in your half an hour. If it's half an hour, it doesn't have to be 2 hours in the gym lifting heavy weights. If that is your target, sure, but give at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes for pranayama, yoga, breathing. Breathing is, like I said, very, very important, especially now because it boosts your immune system. And we all know right now it's very, very important. Okay. Now your sleep. You will have shift work, right? You will be working very challenging shifts sometimes. Again, you have chosen this path. It is very rewarding in some ways, but it comes with challenges. So take it in that way. You are doing it because you've chosen it. Do it with a sense of joy. And whenever you can, get in that sleep. And remember, quality is way more important than the quantity. So if you're able to sleep only a few hours, do it fully with get into a practice of having a pre-bed routine that will help you ease into sleep properly. And here again, breathing comes into place. Okay. And I'm going to give you one more exercise that you can all do, and I would recommend, and that will be very, very helpful for you in your professional lives. It is journaling. Now, journaling has been taught in Ayurveda years and years. And what is journaling? It's about writing down things, okay? Writing down what your feelings are, what your emotions are, what your thoughts are. And people who do this consistently before going to sleep, when they wake up first thing in the morning, have a lot more clarity, because that is a practice of mindfulness, of awareness. You're just sitting with yourself, disconnecting to the outer world, that those expectations, those pressures that are put onto you. You're just sitting with you. You are reconnecting to your values. You're reconnecting to your intentions, to your feelings, to your emotions, letting them flow, because a lot of time we suppress our emotions to meet the expectations. Okay, so this time is very important. Write down, let it flow. It's easier to write down than to say things. It has been scientifically proven. So when you write down, you just let it flow without any type of judgment. It is hard. This is something I'm working on. I'm not very good with this. Sometimes I skip, but then I come back to it because it is very, very rewarding. Okay. So write down, do your journaling before you sleep. Just, okay, how did my day go? How did I react or respond to situations today? What could I have done better? Just write, and that's it. Just leave it there. Okay. Great. Now we're going to do one breathing exercise that I will recommend you to do every single day, because it is just going to get you to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, that calming response in the body, which helps to elevate stress, anxiety. It helps you to perform better at work, and it just helps you to get into that state of wellness and well-being on a daily basis. Okay, so let's all start. It's a very simple pranayam called Dirgha Pranayam, which means equal. When we inhale, we're inhaling fully, and we're exhaling a little bit deeper than our inhalation. So let's all close our eyes. Just allow yourself to come into the present, reconnect to your body through your breath. Get in touch with your body through your breath. Good. And maybe I even invite you to place one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest, just to feel the movement of your body as you breathe. Good. And now with the inhale, think of journeying in the body through your nose, all the way down into your belly. Can you feel the hand that is on your belly rise? And then slowly exhale out completely, taking your time to fully empty out. Take one more breath into the belly. And this time, think of continuing your inhalation into your chest as well. So your hand on the belly and the hand on the chest will rise. And then when you exhale, exhale from the chest first. Let your chest drop and then let your belly drop. Let's do that one last time together. Inhale into the belly, into the chest. Exhale, empty out from your chest and empty out from the belly. And slowly release the hands. If you have the hands on your belly and your chest, take a breath here and exhale out completely. Good, and then blink your eyes to open when you're ready. Right, so this was a short breathing exercise that will help you to recenter yourself. So when you're at work, when you think you need that little break to recenter yourself, and that happens a lot, you have not only team members that have their own attitudes that they come with, they have their own problems that they come with, but also guests. Okay, you are in the middle of all of that, and everything is energy exchange. You are energy. Everybody's throwing out energy at you. You are surrounded by energy. So you need to be in control of your response towards these things that are being thrown at you, to stay calm, to stay centered, and then respond in a calm way. Okay? That's very important, because you will be faced, and trust me, I have been faced with guests yelling at me, with colleagues throwing attitude at me. How do you respond to that? This is what will differentiate you from other leaders that will not have control over their internal environment. Okay, right. So again, the last thing I'm going to say here is that you're going into an industry, any industry for that sake, you will have a lot of competition. How do you deal with that? There will be constant comparisons, expectations. We live in a social media world, a lot of information thrown at us. All these practices that I have told you will build your inner strength. Trust me, with practice, you will see a difference in your life. It might seem very vague right now, but when you start to practice it, you will build your inner strength. And that will give you tools to face those situations better. Okay? Now, remember always, try to swap the word competition with inspiration. Take inspiration from people you think are doing so great. Take inspiration, take motivation. Always operate in a state of learning, getting knowledge, because everybody is on their own journey. And remember, what is yours will always be yours. Nobody, nothing can take it away from you. If you live in that state of vision, of abundance, and you're ready to receive through that state of learning, through that state of gratitude, it will come to you when the time is right. Just believe in it, okay? And switch expectations to motivation and self-awareness, self-motivation, okay? That will get you really far in whichever direction you're going, okay? Now, people with a closed mindset will operate in the way of beating other people down to make their way towards their target. And open-minded people will always operate in a state of developing their own knowledge, developing their own skills. Work on that. Okay, and always associate yourselves with people who lift you up. In all of this, in this rat race that you might be caught into, remember to always stay grounded. Come back to your foundations. What keeps you grounded? Your family, your practices that are close to nature. Take walks out in nature. I cannot stress on this enough. We are forgetting nature when we're so close to technology nowadays. This is why practices like Surya Namaskars are so important in yoga. It is the basis of yoga. When we do a Surya Namaskar, we're connecting to this energy that is the sun. The sun is giving life onto this planet. We're inviting that light into us. We all have a light within us that is ready to shine. Only if we allow it to shine. Okay, always remember this. You have a light within you, allow it to shine. And be close to nature, raise your vibrations always, and do these little practices that will help you raise your vibrations. Okay, be close to nature, go water plants, spend some time in nature, raise your vibrations. Okay, and come back to your family. Don't forget your family, please. When you're caught up in this world of work, come back to your family. This is what will keep you grounded. Take some time out to connect with people. It's not only family, it's anybody who helps you feel grounded, who helps you advance in life, grow in life, not only in your career but also spiritually as a person. Okay, and always have something like this on the side, any activity that will help you feel grounded and grow. Okay, as a person and spiritually. Now, spiritually does not mean religion. Many people confuse spirituality with religion. It is anything that makes you feel connected to nature, anything that makes you feel one with the universe. Remember, we are made of 5 elements according to Ayurveda, that are the same 5 elements that make up everything around us. And when we connect to this, we're able to stay connected with the universe. Okay, so these little practices that I shared today, the breathing, the mindfulness, mindful eating, taking out time for your physical body through yoga practices or any other physical activity, please do start now. There's never tomorrow, because it will always be tomorrow. Then start today. Small little steps. It's always work in progress. I'm still working on myself, working on these practices, and we all can. All right, so I think right, so if you have any questions, if you wish me to answer anything, please do ahead and type out your questions. Also, for those of you who are interested in knowing more about yoga, knowing more about pranayama, Ayurveda, Pilates, I'm very, very open to sharing, because and that's another tip for you guys. Always be in a mode of sharing, because we have 2 hands. I read this somewhere. We have 2 hands. You can only take this much. But if one hand takes, one hand should give back. Always give back. Always be in a state of sharing and empowering others. The more you give, the more is going to come back to you. So for those of you who want to learn anything about yoga, feel free to contact me. So I will type out my YouTube channel here if you want. I have videos
Hi
there.
everyone,
You can
welcome
get
back
in
to my
touch with me
channel.
through
This
Instagram
is a
as well.
quick,
I do a
short,
lot of
but
free
super effective
meditations and
sequence
yoga
of
classes
Pilates
on
moves
Instagram Live. Do
that will
connect,
help you
do
tone
join
and
in
strengthen
if that
your
helps you.
glutes. And we will follow
So
that with a
please
couple
do
of
type out
stretches that
questions if you
target
have
the
any
same area.
questions.
So if you're at home,
I have a
all you need
colleague
is a
here, Chef
mat and your
Alex.
body.
Alex,
So
thank you
let's
for
get started.
joining. If you
We're
have
going to
questions
start
too, you
on
can
our
type them
back.
out.
So hold on to the backs of
And
your
I'll be waiting
thighs
for your
and then
questions.
slowly
Do let
roll
me
down.
know what you need to ask, what you need to
Nice.
know.
So we're going to start with the shoulder
Oh,
bridge. For that,
yes, ma'am.
bring your feet flat on the floor,
So
not too
I'll
far,
be
but
taking
too
care of the
close to your
questionnaire.
bottom. So you want
Thank you so
your
much for the
fingertips to
wonderful
just be able
session,
to touch your
and
heels if
it's
your
been
arms are
really
nice and
relaxing.
straight by the
Really
sides of
taught
the
us
body.
what's the
You want to keep
what's
your
it.
feet
How do we
parallel,
keep
your
ourselves in
thighs
balance?
parallel throughout
And
this exercise.
we move on to the questionnaire from now.
So we're
I'll
going to do the
read
first
out
one
questions.
without using the arm movement.
Yes.
So press down into
Okay,
your
ma'am. The
feet.
first question is by
Scoop the belly
Sarah,
in, lift the tailbone
Sarah,
off the
and
floor, and then one bone
sorry.
after
The
the
first
other,
question by
you're
Money M.
lifting
What is your
your
view
back
of
off the
astral
floor. So
planes?
feel
As
that
many
spine
have
peeling off
said,
your mat.
meditation takes you that
So
level.
we want to keep the back of the neck nice
Okay.
and long,
Very
the chin
interesting
away from the
question.
chest,
Thank you for that,
and
Sarah.
lift the hips up
So
high. So
meditation,
imagine 2
yes.
helium balloons
Now,
pulling your hip bones
a
up
lot of
towards the
people,
sky.
when we talk about
And then starting
meditation,
from the
think
upper
about
back,
sitting
slowly
in one
start to
place
come
like
back
the Buddha
onto the mat.
for hours, waiting to reach into this enlightened state. Like I said, it's small practices. Okay, meditative practices can be very, very small, like 2 minutes, and it is cumulative. It is a practice that the more you do it, the more you get the benefits of it. And this, what you've mentioned, is one of the benefits that you might get, or one of the destinations you might grow into with your practice. Does this happen? Yes, it does happen. However, it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of dedication to it and a lot of time spent on it, because our mind is such that it will always have disturbances. It will always have thoughts popping up, and it's normal. It's okay. You don't have to say, oh, I can't focus. And I hear this a lot. I can't focus. I can't meditate. I'm not going to try. But that's the reason you need to do it. It's like people coming to me and saying, oh, I can't practice yoga, I'm not flexible. That's why you need to do it. Or I'm not strong, I can't go to the gym. That's why you need to do it. Okay, so getting into those zones, into that state of trance does happen. And I had to share an experience. I have students, yoga students, who came to me for purely the physical aspect of the practice. And slowly, with a consistent practice, when we go into Shavasana, the final posture, and I take them through a small meditation, she has been slowly going into this state. And she's completely present, because meditation, you're still present, you're relaxed. You're present, but you're so aware of your internal environment that it takes you into the subconscious. This is what we call it. And there's a practice called Yoga Nidra. I have a video on my YouTube channel for that. So do check it out. Do practice it. You might get into this state. You never know. So it takes you into this level of subconscious that allows your creativity to flow. It takes you into this level where you are present, but you're in the state between your sleep and the unconscious state, okay, and the conscious state, sorry. So yes, it does take you there. Have I reached there? Not very, very often, but like I said, it's a work in progress. So I am working on it, and I am sure that with practice, I will slowly get there. But like I said, that's not my target. For me, I have a broader vision. I want to get into that state of calm more easily, to be able to see through situations a little better. But does it happen? Definitely. Definitely it happens. And there is science to prove it. Meditation, it just allows you, the more you meditate, the less likely you are to make mistakes, because you're so aware. You start to shift from this 3D world, 3D existence, to 4D, 5D, or whatever you want to call it, if that is what you asked. I hope that answered your question. Yes, next one.
Anybody else have any other question? Yeah, sure. So, ma'am, let's make this is a fun round of questions. Okay, we've got this rapid fire round. So it's just in this you can answer it in one word or in one sentence. Following question.
Oh, one word or one sentence? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. The first question: what do you like to do during your spare time?
I like to play tennis.
Okay. Which is the best part of your work?
Best part of my work. Okay, now is it the yoga work or is it my hospital? I'm going to switch to hospitality, since all of you are hospitality professionals now. It will be, I think, my briefings. Why? What? Okay, just one word. My briefings, because it just sets the tone for the entire shift. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. How would you describe your college life?
College life, very eventful. Oh my God. I'm going to talk a little more about this, because those who know me from college know me as the girl who used to sit on the first bench like this. Because when I used to come, I'm sure it happens in your classes too. The guys at the back used to beat on the desk and make noise before the teacher comes, and I don't know what nonsense they used to do there. I used to go with my bottle of water, with my newspaper, and sit like this, as the nerd in college in the first year. Okay, but I evolved. Okay, I wasn't that boring all 3 years. I used to be known as the nerd, and then yeah, so I would describe it as a progression. I really evolved. Like, I was fully into my studies. I used to absolutely love it, and people tagged me as, oh, she's like a FO person, like front office person, but I have completely turned into a food and beverage nerd. Yeah.
And they're wonderful, ma'am. Which is your favorite country to travel to?
Favorite country to travel to? Wow. Okay. In my job, that is a very, very hard question to answer. I'm going to say, oh, that is hard. Okay, I'm going to give you two answers. I think any place that makes me feel at home, it would be my all-time favorite, and that is Burundi. That's my home place. I don't get to travel there very often. My parents are there, so I think that would be the first answer. And the second answer is because I'm a foodie and I love food and I love culture. Any place in Asia would be. I can't pick one. I would say maybe Vietnam. I've traveled to. I love the food there. I love to see a lot of the history there. So I would say that.
That's wonderful, ma'am. That sounds just wonderful. Who's your biggest inspiration in life?
Myself? No, I would say it's my. I would say it's my parents. Because, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they, like I said, they were very much involved in sports, and I think that has led to a lot of discipline, because in sports there's no scope for improvement if you're not disciplined. And I think that has been the driving force throughout my life, and even today actually. And something I want to share with all of you is my parents today are still an inspiration for me and my brother, because they are practicing all that I have told you today. They have their dinners before sunset, following the Ayurvedic principles, because we're supposed to eat before sunset, because after that our digestion starts to slow down. So they do that. They wake up before sunrise at this age. They do their pranayam. They go and do earthing. They go out. They go step onto earth without their slippers or without any footwear to connect to earth. So that is, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, how do you do this? But it's an inspiration. Like I said, if people can do it, everyone can do it. It's just, you need to find that source. And for me, it will be my parents.
Your favorite yogasana, ma'am?
Favorite yoga asana? I would say Balasana. Balasana is child's pose. It's a very relaxing posture. And my students always wait for that. The moment I say Balasana, they're just like, oh, yes, finally, because I make them struggle through all the poses, and then Balasana. I think that's the favorite.
And ma'am, there are 3 more questions which has come up right now, if you don't mind to answer it.
Absolutely, I would love to.
Wonderful, ma'am. So Rachna is asking, could you share a few yoga asanas, meditation techniques that could be practiced every day, especially for working people?
Yes, absolutely. Very, very good question. And I'm glad you asked. I wanted to share all this, but I saw we were running short of time. So if you allow me to, I will just share that now. Breathing techniques, pranayam techniques, like the one I taught you, just breathing in fully. So imagine that your torso is a tank. Okay, so what is happening a lot nowadays, and which is one of the main causes for disease, is improper breathing and shallow breath. We breathe in from here. If you see people who are stressed, their chest starts to rise and fall. And if you see babies, their belly rises and falls because they're so relaxed, right? No tension, no studying, no work. So it's the belly. So we need to get into that practice again. So when you put your hands like this, like I made you practice, you're thinking of the bottom up. So you're sending your breath all the way down, filling up the tank up to here. And then when you exhale, you're emptying out the tank from here. So when you pump out water from a tank, it's going to go from the bottom, from the top towards the bottom, right? So you breathe in, fill up, and breathe out, fill up. Another technique to add to this is to add a counting. So if you count for 4, let's say inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for the same 4, 3, 2, 1. This is something that you can start with. 2 more pranayama techniques that everybody should do every single day is Kapalbhati and Nadi Shodhan. Okay, this has a lot of benefits. Why? Kapalbhati is a kriya. It's a cleansing kriya. What does it do? It detoxifies your body. You might have seen all the big yogis doing this technique, and it goes like, you're exhaling forcefully when your belly goes in, right? It takes practice to learn it, But what it does is, why this practice in the morning, it stokes your inner fire. Now, there's a lot I can say about all of this, and I'm so passionate about this, but we have less time. Please feel free to get in touch with me. Now, Kapalbhati will stoke your inner fire. It will activate all your digestive organs. And that is very necessary in the morning, because when we wake up, our digestion is very slow. Our digestive fire is compared to the sun. So when we wake up early morning, how is the sun? It's very light, it's very mild. That's how our Agni is, our digestive fire. So with these practices, we're stoking it so that when we eat, it is processed properly. And it's also called Kapalbhati. Kapal, forehead. Okay, it cleanses it gives us clarity, it gives a sense of cleansing, and that's when our skin starts to shine, our body detoxifies. Last one is Nadi Shodhan, the alternate nostril breathing. Okay, so just very quickly to tell you how it works, you close the right nostril with Vishnu Mudra in the hand, so index and middle finger in. You close the right nostril, you're going to inhale through the left, close, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, close, exhale through the left. And this should be done at least 10 to 15 minutes every day. Again, practice it, do 2 minutes, 5 minutes. So to answer your question, I know it's been a long answer, but very quickly, this is what I would say. Asana, Surya Namaskar. I'm not going to go into anything complicated. If you do Surya Namaskar every single day, your life is going to change, your body is going to change. It is a meditative practice. It's a moving meditation that works on all your chakras, your energy centers. It works on all your muscles, your joints, and it just energizes you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The next question is Kali Prasad Sahu asks, how do you balance work, friends and family, and this all together?
A very good question. It's just your will to do it. It is challenging. I'm not going to lie and say, it's easy. If you want it, you do it. No, it is challenging. Now, I have lived away from my family for 12 years now, 12 years. And it is something that I do miss a lot, but how do you manage it, right? Now, this is the situation, this is reality. But I do prioritize. I have, like I said, when you have discipline, write down things. I love to write down. If you see my fridge, it has a vision board. It has what I am planning out to do. I do take some time out to talk to my family. Like I said, it keeps me grounded. My brother is in Canada. My parents are in Burundi. I am here and I've been traveling all the time. So taking some time out to connect to people and to get that human interaction is very important. And the texting world that we are in, does not replace voice. Remember that always. Wishing birthdays through messages, give a call, listen to their voice, give them the feeling that someone is there. So I take time out, even if it's 2 minutes, to call people. One person today, one person the other day. I do that. How do you balance work, family, and what was it? Friends. Again, like I said, association is very powerful, and I have shifted to a state of thinking that you don't need to have 12,000 friends or 50,000 friends to validate yourself. Okay, remember that. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to say: there are people out there who don't always mean the best for you, and that is a reality. Okay, I have come to, because of experiences and things that I have been through, there are people out there waiting to feed on your energy, and that's what we call energy vampires. Yes, it is called that. I'm not inventing it. So there are people out there. When you are centered and connected to yourself through these mindful practices, you will be able to see through all of this. And the moment you feel that, okay, this is not really what is resonating with me, take a step back. So I have very few friends, but I have very genuine friends. And even if we are oceans apart and continents apart, I do make time, and we all do. It's never a one-way street. It's a two-way street. When I know people are making time for me, I'm making time for them. We understand each other. If we don't get in touch for 2 months, doesn't mean that we've lost contact. We just get back in touch. But it's just about taking time. And we have 24 hours. If we want to, we are able to do everything we need to do in those 24 hours with just a little bit of planning. It just takes a little bit of planning. That's it.
Yes, ma'am. I completely agree with you in this matter. And the next question is from Money M. Do you feel comfort foods help us in this kind of fast-paced lives? Can you suggest some healthy comfort foods?
Yes, yes. Right. So when I spoke about mindful eating and intuitive eating, it's like I said, take some time before you eat to center yourself, taking a few breaths, and that will allow you to really think, why am I eating? Sometimes we tend to binge eat because just because of stress or emotional eating. So that mindful practice that you will be doing will also help you in this. Like I said, everything is connected. If you apply mindfulness somewhere, it is going to guide you in all other areas. Now, comfort foods, do I have comfort foods? Definitely. It does help. And like I said, don't be rigid with yourself. Like, oh, only this. I don't be hard on yourself. Listen to your body. Go with the flow. Remember that you need to navigate through life fluidly. Comfort foods that are healthy for me are always nuts. I love soaked nuts, so I always have a bunch of almonds soaked and I peel them and eat them. I love pistachios and cashews. If you give that to me every single day, I'm going to eat that. Other healthy foods, well, I'm going to say what is real to me and answer this very honestly. It's fruit. I love fruits. I eat fresh fruits all the time. So I always have a bunch of fruits at home. That is my kind of comfort food. I love to eat things that are close to the earth. Do I eat pizza? Do I eat ice cream? Do I eat cookies? Yes, I do. I love all of that, but it's all about control. So don't make it, it's again a shift of perspective. If you tell yourself, oh, I need this is my comfort food, I'm going to eat pizza every time I'm stressed, then you need a little bit of a shift of perception. So healthy comfort foods for me would be nuts, fruits, vegetables, seeds, and you can make those at home. You can make those healthy bars with nuts in it, with oats. There are so many different recipes I can share. I will share with you if you contact me separately. I can share those healthy recipes with you. So I love to make those oat bars at home with nuts, with fruits. So that would be my comfort food. Anything else? Anything else? Is there any other questions? Healthy smoothie, Rajat Saxena. Healthy smoothie. Okay, this is a very good question because, I used to have a lot of smoothies earlier, and I used to make them with milk and bananas and kale. And because I'm studying Ayurveda, I learned that a lot of these combinations are not very healthy for our body. So, according to Ayurveda, banana and milk, for example, is not a healthy combination. Would you have believed that? It's hard to believe, right? But I'm not going to go into details, but this combination makes us feel very lethargic. And fruit and protein combinations are not recommended by Ayurveda. Why? Because fruit get digested very fast. That's why when people are sick or have digestive issues, we give them fruit. They're easy to digest. So when you eat fruit with other foods, what happens is that the fruit will get processed and will be waiting for the other foods to get processed. And what happens, it sits there on top and it will start to ferment. And all the nutrition is gone. Instead, it will turn into toxins. Okay? So when you have your smoothies, I would suggest do them just with fruit from the same family. Okay, and you can add juice instead. Coconut water is great, or do them just with vegetables. So I prefer juices nowadays. So just yesterday I had celery, apple, green grapes juice. You can make different combinations. You can make beetroot, carrot instead of smoothies. That is my personal recommendation. And if you do smoothies, use your seeds in there. They're really nice. I use flax seeds and chia seeds in my smoothies when I do them, but I avoid combinations that are not recommended by Ayurveda. And that just helps to add in a little bit of nutrients, so antioxidants and omegas in that. Anything else? Easy grounding techniques. Okay, very, very good question. So grounding, first of all, like I said, earthing. Go into nature more. If you have the chance, if you have a backyard, walk barefoot onto grass, onto the earth. Other grounding techniques would be spending time with nature. I have said breathing and meditation, definitely very, very grounding. Um, Very grounding. And another technique is any meditation that connects you to the earth. So if you are able to sit on your floor or even lie down, shavasana, which is the final resting posture, when you're lying on the floor completely, you have so much contact between your body and the ground that automatically helps you to ground yourself. Okay. And then grounding also through your food. Remember, you are what you eat. So when you eat foods that are close to the earth, it helps you to ground yourself and raise your vibrations and connect your vibrations to the vibrations of nature. Also, mantra chanting. Now, Om is known as the universal sound. It is a very, very grounding meditation when you meditate on this mantra or any other mantra that you want. Om, just chanting Om 5 to 10 minutes every day will help you ground yourself as well. How spiritual you are, how it helps for a good life. I think the whole topic today was about that. It helps you because it connects you. We live in a world where a lot of people, why they go into addictions or why they go into depression is because they feel a sense of disconnect. And when you're disconnected with yourself, you'll be disconnected with the environment, with universe. Because like I said, we're made of the same elements that make up the universe. So when you connect to yourself through these spiritual practices, what are spiritual practices, if that is your question, is chanting of mantras, reading spiritual books, whatever it is that you follow, if it's Bhagavad Gita, other books by spiritual leaders. Spiritual leaders have a lot of practice. They have come to this wisdom through practice, through experience, and they're sharing this gift with us through their books, through their teaching. So read, always be in a state of learning, and meditation. I think everything comes down to mindful practices. Spiritual practices can be just sitting in a place and meditating for 5 minutes, or chanting mantras, or doing your yoga practices. Now, yoga is a very, very spiritual practice. It is not just about warrior pose or headstands or sirsasana or handstands. We are doing this with a lot of mindfulness. How connected are you to your breath? How is your breath guiding you into different asanas? It is very, very deep. It's yoga is a lifestyle, and when you get into this lifestyle, automatically you get into a spiritual way of living, because you see in a bigger perspective, you see the bigger picture of things. You're not just in this 3D world with what the world is showing you through social media. And please remember, there's a lot of fakeness out there. What you see out there are people who show the truth, but don't get lost in that. Don't lose your identity trying to be what you see on social media, because people show the very happy moments, but the struggles are hidden. Okay, so don't try to be that by losing yourself. So if you lead a spiritual life through these practices, it all comes down to awareness and to mindfulness. So if you practice this, you're going to grow spiritually. How to
Thank
get
you
rid
so
of
much, ma'am. I think that was almost our last question for the session.
Sure.
So now, thank you so much for such an incredible session. I'm sure your insights have helped us so much, and it will help us in future for having a balance between work and well-being and healthy and all of that. Now, I will call upon Nagarjun for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Rachna. On behalf of the faculty and the students of IHM Chennai, I would like to thank you for inspiring us to live a life with a proper balance between work and well-being. I am sure your insights would help us to make a change in our lives. I would also like to thank the faculty and team of IHM Chennai for organizing such interesting webinars and keeping us informed about the various branches of the industry during these tough times. Lastly, a big thank you to each and every one of you from the audience for joining us. Please don't forget to share your feedback and thoughts about the session on social media by tagging Ms. Pooja. We are looking forward to your participation in our upcoming webinars. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for organizing this to all you students and also to the faculty member. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
It's our pleasure too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this webinar.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.